I'll start caring about the January 6th riot when Democrats start caring about the much more deadly and destructive BLM
May
riots.
29. We call it M29.
Yeah, that's a big
M29
day.
insurrection.
When they set fire to the church in Washington.
And firebombed the White House
Yeah,
and forced the
firebombed the
president
White House
into an emergency bunker.
Yeah.
And the Secret Service guard station, and they attacked the federal courthouse in Portland for months.
For over 100 straight nights.
It was a national tragedy.
Billions of dollars in insurance damage by estimates.
Maybe we should ask the incoming administration to launch the M29 committee.
You know, I know that everyone's really jazzed about like doing stuff like that. And I think that that makes a lot of sense. But on the other hand, I would love to just be like, you know what, screw all that. We're just going to go make everything awesome. We're not going to dwell on our.
But that means arresting the criminal elements who have been corrupting government.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. But I don't like. What waste of time was the January 6th committee? I don't want to see a January 6th committee. Do you know what I mean?
I disagree completely.
Yeah, we have to.
I disagree completely
think about,
on this.
I just want all the good stuff.
But think about what you're saying. We are a nation, a body politic, and on our left arm, it has become gangrene.
Sure.
And the way I see it is you're saying, well, look, I get that we have an infection on our arm that's rotting away the body, but let's just focus on learning how to juggle with the right hand. It's like, no, triage. We've got to stop the rot.
But isn't it every 4 years? Aren't we going to just see every 4 years the new administration prosecuting the previous administration?
No. I'll tell you why.
Ad nauseum.
Let me tell you why. The reason they did the last 4 years of Biden's persecution of Trump, his top aides like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, his January 6th supporters who were persecuted, parents, Christian. The reason
that stuff.
The reason the Biden regime did this, along with their Democrat allies in New York, Atlanta, other hellholes around the country, is because we let them get away with this the first time. I think we need to give them a healthy dose of their own medicine. I call it the dead chicken strategy. Give them a healthy dose of their own medicine, show them power for their real crimes instead of our side's non-crimes. And so they never do this again.
You don't think there's a way to do that without like just wasting a bunch of government time and money?
I mean, the government wastes a bunch of time and money every day.
It's infuriating. I hate it so much. I hate that.
I think that we need, I really do hope that Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel, I hope they open a criminal probe under 18 U.S.C. Section 241, conspiracy against rights.
Yes.
Down in the Southern District of Florida, Fort Pierce, Florida.
Who do you want to see them prosecute?
I would like them to investigate, and if appropriate, I'm an attorney. I still have bar duties.
Said.
If appropriate, they should prosecute anyone who politicized and weaponized our intel agencies and law enforcement to go after political enemies for non-crimes.
So you think they should investigate Merrick Garland for going after parents at school board meetings?
You're damn right. Let's go through the list. I may have a list in my...
Or what about the people who determined that Catholics who go to Latin Mass are actually akin to domestic extremists?
Yeah, down in Richmond.
Yeah, investigate whoever came up with that memo.
I would look at, for example, President Joe Biden's role. Even if he has presidential immunity, he could be an important fact witness. I would look at his White House counsel's office, like Jonathan Sue, who waived President Trump's claim of constitutional executive privilege going back 250 years to George Washington, which led to the Mar-a-Lago raid and the 2 indictments by Jack Smith and his counselor Jay Pratt. I'd go after...
Did you investigate Smith?
And real quick.
Definitely.
When Trump said in that Meet the Press interview, this man came to my home.
Yep.
Oh, I hope he does not forget. And he brings about accountability and justice.
Well, the good thing is that President Trump is not going to have to worry about any of this, because if his Justice Department does its job, they're going to obviously open a criminal probe under 18 U.S.C. Section 241, just like Jack Smith did. That was one of his charges in
an investigation of Robert Hur, for not releasing that transcript, the unredacted transcript?
Nobody's above the law. There is a long list of people, and I would say Fannie Willis, Nathan Wade, Tish James,
Benny Thompson.
Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson too.
I screw that up every time.
Benny, no.
Sorry, Benny. Oh, Benny Thompson.
I would, any. Hey, look, nobody's above the law, and when a grand jury,
Yeah, Benny, you're not above the law.
Sorry.
that's right, and when a federal grand jury in Fort Pierce, Florida, brings an indictment, obviously they're legitimate. A grand jury brought them. And if they're innocent, then, the
What about
I agree.
Mayorkas? Do you want to see a prosecution of Mayorkas?
for his illegal mass parole of 15 million illegal immigrants into our country and the resulting migrant crime, the rapes, murders, robberies.
I've got, just a handful of people I'd like to see investigated too, like Gretchen Whitmer and
what would you investigate Whitmer for?
the deaths of the elderly during COVID.
Would you throw Cuomo in there, Andrew Cuomo?
Absolutely. And Wolf and Newsom and who am I forgetting?
There was a memo that came out from the CDC.
New Jersey.
Yeah, that governor, the governor.
his name.
He's just. We can still go after.
They all did the same thing. They put COVID patients in nursing homes. Murphy. And we saw the reports. I believe right there, I would say probable cause to open an investigation, present a preponderance of evidence to a grand jury and say, should we indict on the evidence we have? And if they say yes, then we'll build our case. According to the reports that came out, and some of it may be political, I don't know, Cuomo killed 15,000 elderly people by choosing to put sick people in nursing homes instead of using, the Comfort that was brought to New York that Trump
the USS Comfort. The
he could have
used the ship.
There was a memo that came out from the CDC in the spring of 2020 that instructed nursing homes to, once people went to the hospital to be treated, when they were done being treated, the nursing homes were instructed by the CDC to take them back. So that was the order that all of those governors were following. It was directly from the CDC.
Those governors wanted to save their Medicaid money.
I agree with you that it was wrong, but there was a memo.
I think.
I don't care.
Do you think that they lost much sleep?
And they can be investigated, and we can look at their communications, because for all we know, there's an email from Cuomo to a health official in New York who says, I understand there's a memo, but this could result in mass death of the elderly if we do this. And Cuomo might have said, yeah, it's fine, do it. They said to do it.
Well,
and
yeah,
it's like,
Latipo in Florida didn't do it. He didn't authorize stuff like that.
Yep, he did a good job. So, I think there should be a lot of investigations and charges. I do not see how if we do not get a handle on the corruption, then when Trump gets out, the apocalypse starts all over again.
100%.
And it's going to be worse than anything we have seen, because you're going to and look, we may have won this battle in the culture war. I've been saying this for some time now. The podcast presidency, they called it. Shows like this have played a role in communicating a vision and a message and ideas and factual information to regular people that allowed them to make an informed decision. But if we're going to sit here and just laugh at Rachel Maddow having a ratings spiral, 6 months to a year, Comcast, Disney, Fox isn't as bad. I'll give them a little bit more credit. I would say they're net positive, but they're not perfect. But these big corporations, they're going to dump billions into the space and make sure we are drowned out. They're going to make sure they dominate the front pages. They're going to cut deals with the corporate class at YouTube and other big tech platforms. They're going to lobby for certain censorship policies. They're going to lobby for things like speech liability insurance. And they're going to come out and be like, well, we have our errors and omissions insurance too. YouTube should require, oh yeah. And then they're going to basically lobby for things that make it for small independent creators. It's going to make it impossible. Then when 2028 comes around, there will not be the authentic independent podcaster anymore. Then they come back in, and if these criminal elements are allowed to persist with Pam Bondi, Cash, and Trump just sitting by and letting it happen, they're going to come back and say, now we have to excise the populist movement. It's our last chance. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.